not to drop your cards. If you do, then don't bend down to pick them up, or you will see hooves under the table.
Hey, spooky siblings. Scary. Monsters are real. Ghosts are real too. They live inside us.
Hey, spooky siblings. Welcome to Wicked Wednesdays. My name is Red, and this is Left on Red. Today we will be discussing Native American legends, tribal ghost stories, and supernatural occurrences. Legend number 1. Uktena. It's a horned snake in Salagi or Cherokee legend. Uktena is said to be very large and round like a tree trunk, with horns on his head. The only way to wound him is to shoot at a singular spot on his forehead that emits bright light. It's similar to a diamond. If you defeat Uktena, you become a miracle worker, a great warrior. Yet once you see the light of his forehead, you run towards it instead of trying to escape. Even to see Uktena sleeping is death. Not to the hunter, but to his family. Legend number 2. The Flame Walker. My tribe talks about a beast called the Flame Walker. Spirits who take the form of a small blue flame that leads people into the swamps and bogs, where they eventually drown or otherwise vanish. Yes, they are basically will-o-wisps.
Oh, so basically me, but instead of swamps, I lure folks into Shyamalan movie marathons. Well, I try to at least. Humans just don't seem to appreciate his sheer genius.
Well, have you seen The Last Airbender?
Oh, don't blame my M. Night for that. The Illuminati bullied him into making that.
Legend number 3. Water-faced hunters. These creatures have a face that acts like a pool of water, reflecting the face of anyone who looks them in the eyes. They mercilessly hunt down the people who acknowledge them. The only way to avoid them is to not speak to them or interact with a stranger unless you can see their face from the corner of your eye. Legend number 4. Nehegini. Dene from northern British Columbia here. My mom used to always tell me stories of the Nehegini, or Bushmen or wild men, when I was young. They were people who lived in the forest and took away people who wandered too far out, specifically children. I always figured these stories were created by my people to serve 2 purposes. First, to teach young children to not wander far off, and second, to give explanations to kidnappings done by other tribes, which were fairly common occurrence even up until the early to mid-20th century. My grandmother's brother was taken by Cree from Alberta and raised by them. They had assumed he had died until decades later, when they were reunited and learned what had happened. Number 5. I live in rural Mexico. There are many, many different people. The ones who settled here are descendants from the Aztec and speak Nahuatl. So that's the people I'll tell you about. One of my favorites is the Nahual. Some people were thought to be able to turn into an animal. Most of them could only turn into one, but the most powerful could turn into different animals. In the early 1900s, there was a man who owned an hacienda where my town is, and he had a sort of overseer that everyone was afraid of. Said overseer could take a message all the way to the next state, think hundreds of miles, and bring back a sealed response in a day. He also seemed to know everything everyone did, all the time. He was also rumored to be a Nahual that could turn into a coyote. His quarters were heavily warded in his absence, which only added fuel to the rumor. For you can only kill a Nahual if you find the human skin he sheds to transform and burn said skin. Number 6. I don't really know any actual stories well enough to tell, but I know the rules. Rule number 1. If you hear someone you know calling your name, but you also know they're not supposed to be there, do not respond. Especially if they're out of sight and insisting you come to them.
And that's why I can never successfully invite people to my Shyamalan movie marathons. Humans are getting too smart.
Rule number 2. Always play group games in counterclockwise order, otherwise you're playing with the dead. 2.5. And don't eat in the dark. This is considered inviting the dead to eat with you. If you can extend your hand all the way out and still see it clearly, then you're fine.
Don't listen to them.
Always play your Uno games in a clockwise fashion. No reversies.
Oh, and make sure there's plenty of snacks.
Rule 3. Don't play card games past midnight. If you do, and someone knocks at the door, don't answer it. Try not to drop your cards. If you do, then don't bend down to pick them up, or you will see hooves under the table. That's bad. Say thank you after meals, even if you're the one that made it. Even better if you say it in the native tongue. If someone finishes their meal and says thank you, you say you're welcome, even if you did not give it to them. Even better, in native tongue. Number 5. Don't try to contact spirits, especially with board games. This is not a tribe custom. It is more of an unspoken common sense among the people.
Thank you. While us supernatural beings do appreciate a movie night or game of Uno with humans, please do not try to contact us via Ouija boards. It's annoying. It's like a paranormal version of receiving a telemarketing call. Just don't do it. Instead, reach out to your local resident ghosts politely, verbally.
And that was Wicked Wednesday. My name is Red, and this is Left on Red. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and press the bell notification button so that you get notified every time Polty and I upload a new video. Until next time.
Hey, spooky siblings. Monsters are real. Ghosts are real too. They live